All new tonight, so-called concrete cancer continues to affect backyard swimming pools all across Central Texas.
Now, a few weeks ago, the KVUE Defenders first told you about the defect potentially impacting thousands of pools in the Austin area, leaving them unusable and putting pool companies and their contractors out of business. But finding out if your pool has it can be frustrating and expensive. Here's KVUE's Darenisha Heron.
After our story about the devastating impacts of alkali-silica reaction, ASR, also called concrete cancer, we received dozens of emails from a lot of you saying you also have signs of this defect and can't use your pool. Many of you said you can't get an appointment for testing because of the demand. I spoke with a civil engineer about the testing process, the backlog, and visited a family finally getting their pool tested.
I just felt completely shocked, that something could happen to the pool that might ruin it.
The Eberts are going into their third Texas summer with a backyard pool, but it could be their last.
We did have to make a rule that while we're out here chilling, not allowed to talk about new cracks. Yeah.
Now there's no ignoring the issue. Every yellow chalk line represents a fracture in the pool that civil engineer Don Spradling and his team found.
Okay, so I think we got a pretty good spot right in here.
Elizabeth and Michael say the cracking started 6 months after the pool was built in 2022 by a popular company, California Pools, for about $130,000.
The pool builder himself had come out and looked at it, and then we just never could get in touch with them again.
We tried reaching California Pools owner Justin McGuire by phone.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
But didn't get an answer. We tried his email. It bounced back. So we went to the business's last known address. And it appears California Pools closed down. Records show owner McGuire filed this certificate of termination with the Secretary of State's office last October. The same fate as other Central Texas pool companies after being hit with hundreds of lawsuits because of the impacts of ASR, or concrete cancer. A defect Don Spradling says is usually mitigated by testing the concrete mix before it's used.
As it comes to ASR, sure, we see textbook examples of it, but it's few and far between to see it in person and up close and really being involved in an investigation.
That was until a year and a half ago. Spradling says he tests multiple pools a week for ASR and believes thousands could be impacted, especially those built in 2020 and 2021. Some experts say as early as 2017 because of a shortage of a material called fly ash. As we showed you in April, ASR happens when concrete is not mixed properly and lacks fly ash. Water makes the concrete expand and crack, and in most cases, the only way to fix it is to demolish and completely rebuild at double, even triple, the original cost of construction. Fly ash is a byproduct of burning coal, something society is moving away from, creating a shortage exacerbated by the pandemic.
I've been to many of these projects where there's no fly ash whatsoever. This is a huge concern.
With concrete cancer signs showing up in more pools recently, engineers and forensic labs have been backed up.
They all said they're slammed with calls and people calling for help and wanting testing and all that. So we emailed and called several people that, we never heard back from.
Don says testing for ASR can run from $7,000 to $10,000.
That's a lot of money.
The process of ASR testing is not a pretty one. Don says it could take 2 to 3 months for these core sample results to come back. Meanwhile, families are left with holes in their pools like this one. Thankfully, Don says this is only a cosmetic issue.
Depending on where they are, it can certainly be a problem. Homeowners are reluctant to get the testing performed because to a large extent it means that the pool might not be available for a while.
Here's Don's team extracting a second core sample to send to a forensics lab. Don says it's not looking good.
We can see that the fractures do extend all the way into the concrete.
They also have other signs like this scaly cracking pattern and leaking.
There's enough moisture on the exterior of the pool coming from some of the features that it's causing the concrete to stay saturated and to cause that ASR process to occur.
It's pretty emotionally wrecking to think about that entire process all over again.
We checked the courts and found 8 lawsuits filed in Travis County against Precision Water Shapes, doing business as California Pools, and their concrete contractors in the last year. All allege breach of contract, negligence, and deceptive trade practices. The defendants deny wrongdoing in each case.
Our attorney has other clients that have ASR, and so we'll be calling them for the next steps.
The Eberts, like many other families, are wondering who dropped the ball.
This was missed. This was missed.
If the Eberts have to rebuild, they hope they aren't paying for someone else's mistake.
I mean, we took out a home equity loan to pay. We're still paying for this. We're going to be paying for it till 2030.
Now all they can do is wait.
We're getting funeral plans ready. But we're planning on one more summer. So.
And see if this summer will be their last to enjoy one of their biggest investments.
Experts say concrete cancer can show itself within just a few months, or it could take years. But it's important to note not every crack in your pool means it has concrete cancer. If you plan to build a pool, Spratling has some advice. Make sure your contract guarantees the concrete mix will be tested for ASR elements. In the coming weeks, we'll have more on the role these contracts could be playing in this issue. For more information on how to protect yourself, look for this story on KVUE.com.